And
Good morning, everyone. Welcome this morning to Being Your Own CEO Success Circle. This is a regular Tuesday morning happening where we come together and support each other, share information, have a discussion, provide encouragement, do a little business together sometimes, whatever. So it's nice to have three people with me this morning. And the first thing on the agenda usually is that we introduce ourselves and say a little something about what we do. So, Carlo, you're on my left on the end. So how would you like to introduce yourself?
ladies and gentlemen, I'm Carlos Savio. I'm living in Las Vegas, Nevada. I've been involved in information systems since, I'll say, the mid-'80s. I've been a former ISP and BBS SISOP. And right now in Vegas, I run a comfortably small digital marketing agency or consultancy, working with about 6 to 8 clients on a cycle of basis, 180-day basis. That's it.
Well, so it sounds like it's a particular sort of program that you're running them through.
Yeah, I'm working on developing it as digital marketing for the rest of us. I focus on, I've got 30 years in management consultancy. And so what I do is, and financial consultancy, and what I do is try to systematize it so that the 55 plus kind of business entrepreneur can make sense of what do they need to do and how they need to catch up on the things that they'd like to do with this so-called internet.
All right on. So I can think of a dozen people that could use your service. So welcome, Carlos. Nice to have you here.
Thank you.
There's Craig, who just jumped in. So
Morning, Craig.
I'll just let Craig sort of get situated here and move over to Jay. How would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Oh, hi, my name is Jay, and my company is affiliateresources.org, and I help people get started in the world of affiliate marketing.
Yay.
Oh, and by the way, I've got a great announcement, is that if you're an Amazon affiliate, Amazon has actually recently changed their stats interface today. It is awesome. It's a brand new interface. It's so much easier to use. It's very intuitive. It's great. So if you're an Amazon affiliate, go check out your stats, and it's awesome. I love it. And such a great improvement.
Oh, that's really interesting. I know I haven't gone to look at Amazon affiliates yet, but that might be coming down the road. You never know.
Very good. Yeah, it's called Amazon Associates is the affiliate program.
Yeah, Amazon Associates, right? Oh, that's cool. So welcome, Jay. Nice to have you here, as usual. So, and Nathan, we see you holding your cup up.
Yeah. The reason you're not seeing me on screen is because it's way more comfortable for me to sit in the armchair right beside my computer and just literally put my feet up and just, relax. Anyway, yeah, I'm calling from Ensenada, Baja California, Mexico. I've been working for a long time as a freelance writer, information marketing, and for whatever reason, I keep winding up in some aspect of information marketing, and it's just reared its head again in yet another way. And got a couple of irons in the fire. One is to do with a magazine about network marketing that recently popped up, and the other thing has to do with a webinar system. And if any of you do webinars and you use GoToWebinar, you know that the upper limit is 1,000 people. This new system that I'm involved with is scalable, so it's quite possible that if you wanted to and you had enough people, you could do a webinar for 30 or 40,000 people at one shot.
Mm-hmm. Well, That's interesting. That's part of the history of this crowdcast that I'm doing.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
It allows for huge numbers of participants. Yeah.
Nathan,
Where do you talk?
do they have API? Do they release their API so you can code your own stuff using their technology?
Really good question. I don't know that. I'm going to have to talk to the guy I'm working with and find out.
Oh, let me know.
I recently got signed onto the system only a few days ago, and I have to learn it. And I've got all these tech questions for the guy that I haven't gotten answered yet. So maybe that information is in the interface. So you said an API, so you can. What is it you want to do? Code your own.
Yeah. So basically, it's taking their technology code. Right?
Yes.
So you basically license their API, you buy their code, and at which point you can then dump that into your own interface, and that way you're not relying on like their website, their technology, or whatever. It's branded as your own essentially. So it's not white labeled. It's they release the code. So similar to how Google releases their API for their analytics and AdWords, so that you can build stuff. So
I'm going to make a note of that right now on my phone just so I don't forget it, and I'll send an email to the guy later, see what I can find out. Hold on a sec.
Okay, yeah, it's just called API.
So that's basically what Crowdcast is, this platform that we're using right now. They are using the Google Hangout API. Yeah. So,
Okay.
but that's probably about to change. There's some new developments with Crowdcast. So, Craig, I see you there. How would you like to introduce yourself? Well, welcome.
Hi. Sorry, I had a little technological issue this morning. Apparently, my Wi-Fi is being a little bit persnickety. My name's Craig. I'm in Western New York, and I help small businesses get online and get their presence felt, hopefully to bring in more customers.
Right on, which everybody who's online, that's something that they want to do for sure.
Craig, quick question for you, Craig. Whatever happened to that referral I sent your way? Did it work out?
It did not work out, no.
Oh, too bad. Okay.
But I appreciate the help. He was I pointed him in the right direction, and yeah, I think he was able to solve his problem.
Yeah, I wound up after that exchange. I wound up getting another trouble call from him, and a certain amount of blame coming my way. And I'm going, hey, you guys booted me off the project way back. So, but it turns out his problem has nothing to do with his mobile stuff, but PayPal, and I solved his problem. So.
Right on.
Yep.
Okay, so and I might say that I do some work style, lifestyle coaching. I help solo entrepreneurs find direction, stay motivated, and build systems. So, and I do this hangout every Tuesday morning. So this morning I thought it would be really fun to have a conversation about how we stay on top of trends. How do we listen? Well, first of all, why do we listen for trends online? And then how do we listen, and what do we find out, and how does that impact us, etc. So I might say that and this kind of follows along the topics that we've been following, talking about blogging and the additional things that we put on our websites, etc., etc. And it seemed to me that it's really important for us to be able to stay on top of trends in the online world. And I mean, just within the last month or so, there's been a number of new platforms that have developed. There are new. What is it? There's the Twitter blab now that everybody's jumping on, and I mean there are just so many trends that are happening. And I guess from where I sit, it's the reason it's important to stay on top of trends is that if you don't, I mean, the speed of change, you could be left in the dust. I don't know how the rest of you sort of relate to that, but how important do you think it is to? Oh, there's Jay. So what?
Oh yeah, I got some words.
No.
So yeah. I'm a big advocate of keeping up with the trends, specifically for my own business, because I mean, 10 years ago when I started doing web design, that's before WordPress, Joomla kind of days, or in terms of its popularity. So I was building websites using HTML and PHP and designing them and using graphic design and stuff, and then the trend started to happen where people were shifting away from web design and like hiring people like myself to build them websites, and then they would adopt to just using WordPress or Joomla or some sort of content management system or Drupal, and then buying templates from these repositories. I mean, the big one at the time was Template Monster, and so they would buy these templates and then just slap them on, and then customize them here and there and stuff. And I was like, oh, well, I better shift, or else I'm not gonna be in business any longer. So I think it's really important for your own business to adopt new technologies and mold it and see how you can use it and market it and implement it into your own business if you're involved in any kind of tech industry, right? Okay. Now, so from that point on, I personally shifted over into the marketing element as opposed to the design element. And my slogan was always, what's the point of having a website if nobody can find you, right? Mm-hmm. Because
it's true.
Yeah. So then I started doing these marketing services for companies, and I still do today. But the trend that I notice is when people start shifting over from paying $2,000 for a website, shifting over from that to a WordPress site where they buy a template, that means that they're looking to save money. They're not as willing to drop a lot of money. And with marketing services, it costs a lot of money because it costs a lot of time to do it properly. And I noticed that people were not willing to pay, anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000 to do marketing services to get them in the search engines and whatnot. And so I noticed this trend. It's like, well, now I'm thinking, well, now what do I do? So because people are wanting to save money, and this is like the whole recession time as well. So, and so I was thinking, okay, well, people are saving money. They want to save money. That's really important. And they want to understand they want to get the return on their investment, good ROI. And that was the key thing that I noticed, is that they wanted to ensure that they got an ROI. They wanted to make sure that the money that they're putting out is coming back at least twofold. So I adopted the mentality of teaching people how to market their own business. And that, in essence, has been my evergreen now, is teaching people. So not only does it, and I'm reaching several audiences. I'm reaching audiences that want to save money, so they're willing to spend a lower dollar value on a monthly basis to get that kind of support and education. And then you have the mentality of, then you have another level of people called, do it with me, where I will help them along, and then there's the do it for me model. So there's 3 different tiers there, all of each have different price points. So I'm very proud of myself to be able to do that, because I've been able to tap into the low barrier entry where people are not willing to spend a lot of money, the next barrier where people are willing to spend a little bit more money and also, educate themselves, and then there's the top shelf where people are just willing to say, here's X amount of dollars, get me on the first page of Google, or do some ad campaigns and send me reports. So, and that's all as the result of staying in trend and listening to your customers. I think that's really important, because if your customers are not up with the trend, then then you have to understand. You have to decide. Well, do I want to go forward and leave them behind, or do I want to segment my business and still stay behind a little bit, but also adopt the new technology to reach a new audience? So I think it's really important is that when you're listening to trends, to not just jump forward towards that trend. Listen to your audience. Listen to your customers. Because if they're shrugging their shoulders about this new trend, then you're going to be spending more time educating them about the new trend than you are helping them. And Jay out, mic drop.
Well, but the question I have about that, and I agree with you. I can see how that I've been around long enough to see those trends actually happening. But I guess the question I have is, how did you stay on? What did you do to know, in order to know where the trends were headed?
I read a lot. I mean, I read a lot of what Google would push out in terms of what's happening and stuff. Trend Hunter is a great source to read. Trendhunter.com is a cool little resource. Industry magazines and industry websites, I think, are really important. And I mean, I used to have their RSS feeds and read them in my reader, right? And which I still do. I use something called Zite, Z-I-T-E. And it's an aggregate reader that you put in your passions and stuff, and then you can it creates a little newspaper. It's like Instapaper or Flipbook or whatever it's called.
I use one called Feedly.
Yeah, Feedly's. Yeah, that's a pretty cool one.
Yeah.
But the other thing is I was part of a community, Wealthy Affiliate. They've been around for 8 years. And I've been a member, they've been around 10 years, and I've been a member 8 years. And it's a community of well over 10,000 people. And when people are in a community, they reveal a lot about what they like and what they don't. They tend to really, it's like being the bartender at a bar and listening to what people are telling you. I love you, man. But they really do tell you about what they like. Oh, what do you think of this new Bitcoin, or what do you think of this new Periscope or Blab, as you call it, right? And people are like, well, you can use that Blab as an example. People are saying, well, I don't think it's really going to last. I think it's a short, meaningless relationship, and I think it's going to slowly fizzle away like an effervescent. It's going to, it's bubble for a little while, and then it's slowly going to, fizzle away until the next trend comes.
Well, and yeah, that's the new shiny object kind of thing.
Yes.
But, yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of conversation on Google Plus and in other Hangouts around, whether they like Blab or whether they want to stay with Hangouts and so forth.
Well, we can use Hangouts as an example as well. People saying, Google Hangouts or Google Plus there is a dying thing, and I think it's. I personally don't think it's a dying thing. I don't think it's going away anytime soon because they've invested so much time and effort into it, and there's so many renowned people that are involved in it. That they're not just going to drop it.
Well, I personally don't think Hangouts are going to disappear either. And I might sort of, just while we're on that topic, I sat in on a sneak peek of what Crowdcast is going to be doing. And they're going to be moving away from the Google Hangout and having their own platform. But to me, it looks as though it's going to be very much like a Blab. There's only going to be room for 4 people in the room together. So in terms of and that I guess that works for some people depending on what it is that they want to do. But it doesn't work for me because I've had up to 8 people in the room. Yeah.
Is it a subscription model? Remind me how they monetize.
They don't. Well, they have right now. They have 2 or 3 levels. There's a free version, and then there's a premium, and then another one above that. So,
right. Okay.
I think they're going to sort of go after the people that are running big online conferences.
So it sounds like they're changing APIs. It sounds like if they're going to do like a Blab type of thing,
they're creating their own.
or they're using a bootstrap from Twitter. It sounds like so, or they're proprietary.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But because Blab definitely is affiliated and links up with Twitter, but I don't know how they're going to do it. I mean, there's some really nice features of this Crowdcast that I think are really useful, but so I don't know. I mean, Jay, you said a few minutes ago, it's not always a good idea to just something pops up to make a leap to it.
Yeah.
And how important it is to be paying attention to the clients that you're working with.
Yes.
And how important it is to be listening and figuring out where they are.
Mm-hmm.
And figuring out how to go with that. But yeah. I just would like to hear what everybody else thinks about staying on top of trends. Craig, what about you? How do you stay on top of trends, and how important do you think it is?
Well, my buddy Jay over there got me using Google Alerts. And
Google Alerts, those are great.
Are an amazing tool for keeping track of things that are on your radar. But as far as trends are concerned, I'll often go into the Google Trends and see what's going on there and see what if I can pick up a cyclical thing of some kind.
Mm-hmm.
Since I work with a lot of people that are still only using Facebook, and just even getting them to want a website can be a bit challenging. I've embraced the Google Maps feature as one of the things that I promote to people. Getting them on the map where people can find them is a really effective use of the resources that are out there. And if they don't want to get a website, it serves as a pseudo website for them,
mm-hmm.
So that they can at least get some online presence. So I liked I obviously keep in touch with what's going on. I use Google Plus mostly for that, but I spend a lot of time at some of the various vendors out there that are talking about the latest and greatest thing.
Mm-hmm.
When I look at trends, I'm a bit of a Luddite when it comes to that stuff. I'm not an early adopter. When I look at Blab, I finally signed up for it, but only because the content that I want to see is being delivered that way. And do I want to participate in one? No, but I'll watch it.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been a huge fan of the Twitter platform itself, but and because Blab and Twitter are linked together, I just kind of I really like the Google interface. I really like the Google Hangouts, and I hope that they don't go anywhere. But when I look at trends, I think back to a few years ago. There was a product that just ran rampant, and it was called Rippling. And they sucked a humongous number of people in, and then it turns out that what most of us thought in the background was in fact the case, and it turned out that they were just collecting emails and building their email list, and the whole thing imploded when it was time to say, oh yeah, we're going to monetize. No, we're not. We got all your emails, so we're happy. They got about 5 million emails out of that. And
really? Wow.
And it was a bunch of people that they had suckered into wanting to see something. So, I kind of like to wait things out and see if they're going to provide promise, or if they're just. I'm a little concerned about what you're saying with Crowdcast, because I really like this platform.
I like it too, and I have I've actually given some feedback about it, that I was disappointed that they're doing what they're doing, but
yeah,
so so I like the fact that you and I think your approach is worthy of paying attention to, not necessarily jumping on the bandwagon immediately, but the other thing I got from what you said, Craig, is a little also Jay, I think you kind of referred to it as well, is like you got to spend some time. You got to read. You got to read what other people are saying. You got to read articles and industry things, etc., and that does take time, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's important to allocate a certain amount of time every week to actually do that. Because you want to learn about your industry. You want to be knowledgeable of your industry, so that you can keep up with trends. You can keep up with rants and what's happening in the world, and changes and stuff like that. Now, I actually have a question for everyone. How does a trend start? No, honestly, like
that's a damn good question.
How does a trend start?
Well, I think it somebody has an idea, and they put it out there, and if others take it up, then I think it goes viral online, and that people are talking about it.
So essentially, it's people. People start trends.
It is people. You're right.
Idea, people, right? So ideas is one thing. To create the trend, you need several things. You need several people, right? An idea just starts with one person or one company, And the trend, to get it trending, you need lots of people. So that's why I was saying earlier that it's really important to listen to your audience, listen to the people who is inside your audience, in your sector. Because if an idea pops up and some people are attracted to it, that doesn't mean that it's becoming a trend and everyone has to go to it. If you listen to your audience and your audience is saying, geez, I think that's kind of cool. I think the electric car is kind of cool, but I don't know, it's really expensive and stuff like that, So you have to really listen to your audience. And if your audience says, I'm not ready for that yet, then you need to mold, either segment, like split your business apart a little bit, so that you can offer new upcoming trends and legacy-based stuff, right? So that you can still capture. You're not losing an audience, right? I mean, everyone loves trendsetters. They're typically leaders in the industry, but a trendsetter is not always going to be doing the right thing.
Yeah. So yeah, I like that. That analogy you made. That idea plus people. That's really key, isn't it? So, Carla, what about you? How do you listen to trends, or do you listen to trends?
Well, I've been watching trends since the mid-'80s, and I remember I was thinking as Craig was speaking and Jay was speaking, I remember back in the late 80s I was doing selling and installing accounting software for contractors. And they would invariably come up with, well, does it do Windows? And when Windows was just coming about. And at first I was intimidated about, will it do Windows? Because it was a DOS-based program. And my point is this. I would ask people, well, what would you do with Windows? Well, I don't know. I just wanted to know if it did Windows. So to answer your question is I confine myself to about 10 basic projects. And each one of those projects I offer a client has a subset of 5 projects. And yes, I try to stay sensitive to the next new best thing. And when the client brings it up, I'll say, tell me what you understand about blobs, or tell me what you understand about this. And if they frump around, then it's not worth investing in free time. If they want to go into it and say, okay, well, it costs, remember, I only work with 6 to 8 clients at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So if they want to get all exotic on me, say, fine, it's going to cost this much to do that much. Or do you want to go off and learn it yourself? So that's how, because I've gotten email fatigue between all the great communities that we participate in. And you know, every few days I go in and I start deleting previous days' emails I just didn't get a chance to read with. And then all of us in this industry, you get the fear of missing out on something. So I've decided to pick and choose those things. Let me tell you a story real quick to answer it. Years ago I worked in film from a production standpoint, from a management standpoint. Living in Savannah, Georgia, shooting a film called The Rose and the Jackal with Christopher Reeves. They've taken an alleyway in Savannah, Georgia, and turned it into a prison where Christopher Reeves' character is interviewing the bad guy. And Dieter Lohmann, who was the producer who shot all of Clint Eastwood's night shots, was really good at lighting up a dark area. And I'm standing next to this script supervisor, and we're at the last shot. And Jack is so proud of himself, he goes, okay, last shot's in the cup. And the script supervisor turned to us and said, yeah, man, but will it sell popcorn? And I suddenly realized what the movie industry was about, selling syrup and popcorn. So the same thing with this what we used to call information highway. Mm-hmm. The G-force, if all of us here suffer from the G-force, can you imagine what the end user is like? So in full circle, I narrow it down to what is palatable, what are they willing to buy, and what do they expect from that? Guy taught me, I usually ask a client 2 questions, you know, what 2 significant things do you want to get out of this, you know, this website, or how will you know it's working? Mm-hmm. And you'd be amazed what they tell you. As Jay says, you listen to what they ask you. Mm-hmm. And that is to say, how will I measure my productivity, and how will I get it to convert? And that gives you the keys to the project. Mm-hmm. So that's where I'm at.
Cool. And you know, at the end of the day, information superhighway can cause windburn. I think that's what Carlos is basically saying.
Thank you, Jay. I love
it. Well, and I take from what everybody is saying that you've got there are a lot of clients that well, I'm just going to refer to a client that I spoke to just recently, who said, if somebody had just told me a long time ago how to interact, how to engage with people on the internet, I would be, my life would have been way different from what it is now. So she ran around and took courses on how to set herself up on Facebook and how to set herself up in Google Plus and all of those things. But there she was with absolutely no idea what to do with it. So somewhere along the way, nobody listened to her.
Sure. There's a joke in Vegas that says, if the game was 22, I would own this town.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, it's just so being on top of trends is really important, but knowing when to kind of move or change or adopt. But I mean, there is kind of a critical mass, I think, and you know, Jay, you referred to that when you saw people not willing to spend money on this, but are moving over to that, etc. So, but it certainly does mean that you really have to be reading and and looking at the trends, but also reading your clients.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Len, you've been kind of a trendsetter, I think, personally, because I've known you for I don't know, like 6-7 years now, and when I first met you, your website was just a static website, and you had your tech guy work with you, and whom I still think you work with, but you've adopted the technology of WordPress, and then you started adopting the technology of Google Plus. And now you teach Google Plus to people, right? So you're adopting new technology, and you're helping people. You're bringing people into that trend. So kudos to you. I think that's great, and I think that's a great thing to do.
Well, that's very nice, but what I observe in terms of my clients in local clients is they are still not ready. They are still really uncertain about what engagement really means.
Yeah, but you're taking a legacy-based type of profile person, and you're baby stepping them into this new trend. So and I think that's great. I think that kind of solidifies what I was saying, is that you want to reach your evergreen based audience that's not maybe ready for trends.
Absolutely.
And introduce them and take them into baby steps. Like, okay, well here it is. Here's how you do it and stuff. So I think that's a really good idea.
So I see a question here from Roland, who's out in the audience, and he says, "Where is your main comment stream?" I don't know whether that is a question about how to participate with us, or I'm not certain about the meaning of the question. So, Roland, we see your question. It's in. We did say earlier that if you wanted to say something, to use the comment stream within Crowdcast. So I hope that's helpful. Another piece that really concerns me is we're hearing an awful lot about what's going on in terms of mobile, and I think that's a trend that some of us need to think about, and figure out how or if we need to move in that direction, and in what way. Anybody have any comments about that sort of mobile trend? Carlo, I think you are sitting on a mobile, aren't you?
Yeah, it is definitely I'm watching this broadcast from a tablet. It has its limitations right now because I can't see the stream. And the tablet browsers are really not conducive yet because you can't get the bells and whistles. I'm at a loss out of touching certain things that I'm used to on the screen. However, in gearing up for mobile is definitely the way to go. I mean, any of us who use our mobile, for example, me here in Vegas, I drive past. I'm not a casino player. I'm probably more of a Buffett guy. but because I have all the cards for these clubs, as I drive around different parts of Vegas, my cell phone lights up when I'm near Stations Casino or this casino or whatever. Get me, give me, buy me, bring me, all this stuff, and it just tickles me how that geo-targeting works.
Yeah. And
how the geo-targeting works in the stores as well.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I do, one of the things I do with Jay used the term about the static sites is migrate them towards a bootstrap type of website that you can read easily from a smartphone, and you can interact with easily from a smartphone, be it a site, be it a landing page. So yes, that's kind of where I'm focusing on, away from the big piece of landscape to the smartphones. And of course, from my next phase is when my clients are ready, is to get into AdWords and monitoring them on the cell phone. So that's it.
Okay. So here's a comment. Let's see if this works. So it's from Roland, but it's showing on my screen as backwards. I don't know if it's showing on
No,
everybody
it's
else.
fine. It shows
No.
fine.
It's showing backwards.
Hi,
on mine.
Roland.
So greetings, Roland. Nice to have you here. And what Roland was saying is that Blab is very mobile, and Hangout's not as. And then there's another comment here. Blab's first and second levels of subscription are not practical. So I'm not sure what that's about, second levels of subscription, but
Can we invite Roland into the talk?
sure we can. If Roland, would you like to join us here? You're most welcome. I will invite you.
I just wanted to comment on mobile, and my thoughts on mobile is your mobile audience, they don't convert as well. They don't have intent to convert. So for example, as an Amazon affiliate, someone on a phone lands on one of my sites, they're not going to buy on Amazon, right? They're not going to click buy this on Amazon and whoosh off they go and buy it on Amazon. They're going to wait till they go to a desktop or something. They're kicking tires, right? And so what I do is I try to get people's email or capture some sort of lead, do some sort of lead generation through email, so that way I can readdress that same marketing, so that when they're on a laptop or even a tablet, so because people tend to convert better, buy things on a laptop and on a tablet, because I think we're still at the time, of people not trusting mobile to buy things. People are not as willing. Haven't shaved. I'm just reading the comments, but yeah, so people aren't ready to buy on mobile. I don't think people are ready to buy on mobile. So that's why I try to customize the mobile experience on my clients' websites so that we capture lead generation. So, for example, I do local marketing for Merry Maids here in Victoria, and what they want is they want calls or emails, right? Quotes. So on the website, on the desktop site or laptop site, it's like email. So like here's the email. On the mobile, we push the phone number up at the top and say, here, click to call us, click to call us. And it works really well. I mean, it's basically called conversion optimization, testing strategies to see what works. And what I find works really well is get people to convert quicker through phone or email on a mobile. And with desktop and laptops, you can use email opt-ins and stuff like that, and you can add more content so that people aren't scrolling. So.
Well, and I think that's you're referring to something that I've heard for a while now, that people use their smartphones to do research.
Yeah, mobile's for kicking the tires, laptops are for lighting the fires.
I love
Well
it.
said. Well said.
So I did invite Roland, but I can see from his comments that he's not seeing the invitation. So Roland, if you go into your Hangout, your little Hangout text, you'll see the link there. So that's one place that you can find it. So yes, the Google Plus Text Hangout, as Craig is saying. Thank you, Craig. So, but one of the getting back to the mobile and what just what sort of it is a trend, and we are using it, and we are sort of trying to figure out how to use it, and how do we make what do we do to access that is a big question for all of us. And there is Roland, who just joined us. Welcome, Roland.
Greetings. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can
Yeah.
hear you. Would you like to
Nice
introduce
to see you.
yourself to others who may be listening?
Yeah. First of all, I'm very familiar with the three of you, and I'm honored to be in a circle and meeting some more people. So this is very fun. Hi, Craig. Hi, Carlo. And of course, I know you, Luann.
Yeah.
We had a big deal about how to pronounce your last name a few months ago.
Yeah, that's something that I just have. It's just a cross I have to bear.
I was just in Fushilorn.
Yeah. Well, when people see the last name that I sport, they go, they have to add some kind of inflection to it because of the Japanese connotation. So I'm like, Takoka, or Takoka, or Takioka, like, it's got
You say it as if
a
they're angry or something, right?
Yeah. But if you don't, then you're mispronouncing it via the Japanese tradition or something. I don't know.
Right. That's
Okay.
funny.
You guys were talking about Crowdcast, and I've been following this for a long time. I'm not exactly the earliest adopter, but I thought it was going to be a great format. I think it is. But the way they've taken it, if you subscribe to the first or second levels, it does not even give you unlimited events. It does not even give you enough to have one show a week. So you can have 3 shows a month. Now, that doesn't help me. So it's like, well, when do you have more so I can do a show every week? And you have to subscribe at a level of like $90-something a month just to get a program that allows you to do it once a week. So to me, that's totally defeating to get started. Their first level is like $30, and that sounds like it's potentially feasible. They have no free level whatsoever.
Are you speaking about Crowdcast?
Yes.
Certainly, what you're expressing is not what I've encountered at all.
Yeah, I've been watching their betas and was invited to participate in their beta show, and they've sent us like a price list that it basically covers all this stuff, and their levels of, in general, if you don't do Hangouts, is about $30 a month, and then it goes up and up from there. But they also have a plan where they will support Hangouts, as in Google Hangouts, for $19 a month with unlimited viewers.
Oh,
so,
I see. Okay.
So it's like, why would you do their format if you could do Hangouts for $19 a month and unlimited? So that I might try, but I'm not willing at this point to consider switching over to them because their whole plan is pretty much defeating to me.
Yeah, I wanted to touch base on what Roland was saying, and from a visitor of Crowdcast, like I don't broadcast through Crowdcast. I'm just an attendee. I'm part of the film strip. So, and I've yet to find any kind of justification as a user to see the benefit of it. Right now it's actually it's now, because you're using Crowdcast as a user, to be inside here have to take one additional step and be forced to sign up through their system to be able to be an attendee inside the film strip. So to me, it's not really, there's no benefit there. Now, the benefit I could see if I was watching on the outside. Now, Roland, were you watching through Laulan's website? Is that how you were initially watching, or how were you initially watching?
I was watching Laulan's program from Crowdcast, and I was commenting away, and like I was the only one in my universe, and nobody was interacting. So I looked around and I found the second spot, and then I commented there. I thought I was still in the Twilight Zone, but then you responded to me, so here I am. It was a bit confusing to figure out where I could connect, where you could recognize me.
Yeah, I think that they've broken ground in terms of the idea, but in terms of the user experience, I think they need to iron out some of the issues.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and of course, what was attractive to me was that I I can run the crowdcast from my website.
Mm-hmm.
I'd
And
like to have, okay, I wanted to ask Roland a question.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, Roland, where do you find Hangouts falls short as far as mobility?
Yeah, they take up so much bandwidth that they are hard for people to participate. So even if they have um, less than a couple megs of download and less than a megabyte or a megabyte and a half of upload, they're going to have problems participating. And certainly being in a Hangout is tough. Um, Bill Graham has expressed that he lives in Belize, and they don't even have higher
Mm-hmm.
uh, bandwidth abilities unless you spend hundreds of dollars. I mean, literally, you have basically you could do the same thing. You could get a T1 for yourself in California at the
Mhm.
prices that they charge for good throughput.
Yeah.
So it's not as applicable and universal as other things, but I still find that the Hangout scene is the most usable, the most friendly, and it's like 90% dependable. And so that's good enough for me. For what I'm doing, I'm providing free education on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now, Blab solves your bandwidth problems, but it does have some limitations as well.
Yeah, that's why I'm thinking to combine the two elements is probably a good idea. So what we're trying out and we're starting to experiment with is having a Blab pre-show and then driving people to the Hangouts. And of course, if they can't work out the technology because of bandwidth and etc., then that's okay with me. But I still want to keep Hangouts as my primary platform.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
I
I'm
caught that
with
last
the
weekend. I caught that last weekend of what you did, and you and Bill did a wonderful job with that.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Yeah, Bill is better than he thinks he is. He has taken this on, and he's a Blab show host in the making, and he conducted himself wonderfully. He's very communicative, and he's good on camera. He's a natural. He doesn't know it, but he's a natural.
Right.
But
He's
he
going
is
to
in
be on my
Belize.
show.
He does have limitations.
Yeah. He will be on my Hangout this Saturday, by the way, telling about his experience with Blab and also his website and his campaign online.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, almost everybody that I have encountered over the last year and a half that I've gotten to know in Google Plus, and those people who have really made a study and figured out how to really make good use of a Hangout, I don't hear any of them saying they're going to give it up. So, it may have a few limitations, but yeah. So we sure did get off a topic this morning, didn't we?
It was fun.
Well, not really, because Crowdcast is a trend. If you think about it.
True.
So and here we are talking about it as an audience. Listening to the people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's true. So I see that we're just about ready to wrap up. But Roland, since you're here, I might ask you the same question I asked everybody else. How important do you think it is to stay on trends, and how do you stay on top of trends?
I'm very similar to what other people have said. I do as much research as I can. Primarily, I watch a lot of videos to see what the other people are advertising and promoting on video because they're in the format that they're promoting and seeing how they're using it. But I'm reading a lot of articles and trying to stay on top of things. But you can't do everything because I cater to a lot of small businesses trying to get their foothold on what to do. And I explain to them, you don't have to do everything, but you have to do a few things smart. and you know, try for the longevity picks that are going to last a while, and then do the few things, because usually we're solopreneurs, we're one person, maybe a couple of people working on a project. Well, I don't have a big team of people
No.
attacking my social media and stuff. So you have to do a few things right. And one of the people who are doing it right is Bill, Bill Graham. But he's doing a lot, but he's selectively doing the things that make a difference. And that's what we have to do.
Mm.
Well
Absolutely.
said. Well said.
Right on. So, yeah, one of the places that I'm really interested to kind of watch where things go is the whole mobile thing, because I guess it's me listening to me, because I couldn't live without my smartphone. So I make great use of my smartphone for all kinds of things. So, but you know, it'll be interesting to see where that will go. Yeah. So I see that our time is up now, and so I want to just wrap up today's conversation with a thanks to everyone who joined us within the film strip here. I think it was an interesting conversation, and I do appreciate your participation. So, so I'm going to wrap up with a reminder to please join your Being Your Own CEO community on Google+. You'll find lots of resources there, and if your pleasure is YouTube, you could join my YouTube channel as well. So this is Laurel Ann signing off for this week, right now.